beginning of 2023, we want to talk about the current topic, which is when you have a vacant land, what do you do? How do you safeguard your vacant land? You construct a compound wall and then you put up a board saying that this property belongs to so and so. Likewise, when a person dies, it's called intestate, without making a will, and the other one is after making the will, it's not that complicated. But when he dies intestate, that is without making a will, we are going to touch upon the probation of will and the Indian Succession Act of 1956. This is on request from our viewers. So we are beginning this 2023 with this topic. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
The viewers would like to know, what is probation of will? A will, if it is made, is it a must that it should be registered, or it can remain an unregistered one? So that's my beginning question.
So, only if it is your self-acquired property, you can write a will. If it has come from your ancestor, automatically it should devolve upon your legal heirs. You cannot write a will. So everybody should be very clear that you can write a will only for your self-acquired property. That is number one. Number two, okay, you are writing a will, and my best advice to all the parents, either father or mother, is that if a father wants to write a will, my best advice is that he should not write a will directly in favor of his siblings. The first will you have to write in favor of your wife, because after that there is no security for your wife. If you give your property equally in favor of your children and your wife, the children automatically will send out to the mother. No, they will not look after their mother, and they will be insisting the mother to give her share in favor of the children. So, in order to give protection to your partner, I am advising everybody that you should write a will first in favor of your wife. You should also mention that after the lifetime of my wife, it should go to my children equally. That is the best thing, because I have seen in so many cases. But in the case of wife, you should write in favor of the husband first. After that, because I have seen in so many cases, mostly in the will, and what everybody used to write, after my death it will go in favor, equally in favor of the children. Most of them will be forgetting about the wife, and the wife will not be looked after the death of the husband. So in order to give her some protection, you have to write only like this. First give your preference to your wife. Then after the lifetime of wife, let it be shared by the siblings. That is,
we can even say the husband can give the full living rights to the wife, and after her demise, the property will go to the...
You should mention very clearly in the will. You should also mention another important aspect. You should say that it has to go to my wife. And you should not give any right to your wife to alienate the property. That is the main thing. Because what these children will do now, after your demise, after the person's demise, they will be insisting the mother to settle the property in favor of them. So you should make a clear indication in the will that my wife has got no right to alienate her property till her lifetime. She should only enjoy the full property.
Exactly.
Only after her lifetime it will automatically go in favor of the children. This is what you have to write. So, in order to give protection. And in the case of MGR, how he had written the will. MGR is an example as to how one person has to write a will. Because he had got to know children. So, what MGR did was, he had given full right to Janaki Ramachandran, his wife. He says in the will, after my lifetime, and my Ramavaram residence will go only to my wife. She has got the right only to enjoy the property. She cannot alienate the property to anybody else. After her lifetime, Janaki's brothers, siblings, brothers' children were there. Right from their childhood, they were brought by MGR. So MGR had said after the lifetime of Janaki Ramachandran, it will go in favor of the children, and they cannot dispose the property because he had written the will stating that a portion of the property should be used only for the welfare of the deaf and dumb children. They have to be given education and everything. So this is how MGR has written. He has given a full right to Janaki Ramachandran only for enjoyment. And he cannot give the property, he cannot settle the property in favor of anyone else. Only after their lifetime. Automatically it should go to the children. That is
even now, if you see in Ramavaram, a portion of it has been converted as a museum and his mother's temple. He has a temple there for his mother. So everything is remaining just the same. And for the said people, like Janaki's relatives, they live in a separate quarters, living quarters.
Because he has indicated that very clearly in the will. MGR's will is a very good example. He has very clearly written, stating that only after a lifetime it should go to others. Because these children will not respect the wife if she doesn't have any right in the property. That is why MGR has given full right to Janaki Ramachandran. Alienation should not be given to the wife. Because these children will insist the mother to settle the property. After that, they will not look after the mother. So this is how one has to write the will. And secondly, you were talking about the registered and unregistered. What is the effect of registered and unregistered will? That is a very big question. A registered will, unregistered will, both has got the same value. Even if you have written an unregistered will, it does not mean that it will not be valid before the court. It is very much valid. My best advice is that you write an unregistered will, because if you write a registered will, your children will be looking after the sub-registrar office as to whether father has written any will, and if they go and put some encumbrance certificate, it will expose that there is a will registered. If they go and take the will, they will be knowing to whom that has been given. So in order to avoid that, you keep it as a secret. MGR has also written an unregistered will, and he had given it in the custody of an advocate.
Yes.
Like that, you can give the will in the custody of some trusted person. And how to write a will? You should get 2 witnesses.
Yes.
That is mandatory.
2
witnesses. After that, you have to write your name, and you have to put your signature.
Yes.
You have to affix your fingerprints.
Or your signature.
After that, there should be a custodian of the will. That is executor who has to execute the will after your demise. That has to be mentioned. You should appoint somebody else.
Yes.
This is how you should because will has got some. If you follow all these formalities, you need not register the will. Mostly write an unregistered will. It will be valid before the court of law.
What does the law say? Law says the language must be very clear, and the person making the will should be of very sound mind. And not only that, even when he has made a will and he changes the will a little while later and suddenly he dies, the latest will that he has made will take effect after his death. That's what the law says, isn't it?
That is called a revocation.
Revocation of law, of the previous will.
You can write a will. Suppose after some time, if you want to change it, you have got the power to revoke the will. And you can write a new will. And in the new will, you can simply say that I have already written will, that is hereby revoked, and the new will stand.
Is it a must that you should mention that it should be revoked, or once you make the next will, automatically the prior ones gets cancelled?
Even if you do not, it is better that you should mention it.
Okay.
But even if you do not mention it, the latest will survive.
Okay.
So that you need not bother about it. The latest will stand before the court. And with regard to the probation, you have asked about the
probation of will.
Probation.
Is it a must?
Because if the property is within the jurisdiction of the High Court, you must probate.
Okay.
For example, we have got the Madras High Court jurisdiction. It will be covering only the main town area. For example, if you are in Chengalpet, if you are in Tiruvallur, and if you have got a property, and if you have written a will, children need not go and probate the will. Only the will should be probated if it is executed within the jurisdiction of the High Court. If it comes within the jurisdiction of the Madurai High Court, you have to probate it.
Probate it there.
If it goes out of Madurai town, you need not probate. That is what the law says. So probating the will, and why they are probating the will? Just to avoid any confusion. Because if you probate the will, they will be sending notices to all the legal heirs.
Yes.
Because sometimes legal heirs will have objection. Legal heirs will come and say that, yes, I have got some objection. If you probate the will, all the formalities will be followed. Then the letter of administration will be given to you. That is called probation. After inquiring all the legal heirs, they will also be advertising in the newspaper stating that if anybody has got any objection. After this, they will say that the will is probated. Letter of administration will be given to you. By using that, you can easily sell the property to anybody else, and you can also transfer the name in all the revenue records by using the probation of will. Only for this purpose, probation of will be very helpful.